and I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Twitch and on Kick. And I'm curious, ever so curious. There we go. There's me, there's little me. There's me. Turn the volume down on that. And yeah, now I've got my Twitch chat off to the side here. I've got ChatGPT up here real quick. I want to pop on over to Kick just to see what's going on there. Check myself out real quick. Mildly curious about hearing my echo. Okay. 14 followers. That's really what I was curious about with Kick. Back to Twitch. I'm live. Been doing this for over a minute now. Wow. And yeah, I see subscribers. Let's turn that off. Sub points. Let's turn those off. I like to keep that stuff off so I don't get self-conscious about it. And then back to ChatGPT, where I've already loaded in my notes from this morning. And what I've had that do is break down scene by scene what I'm writing, what I should be focused on in each section, and how do I avoid my biggest handicap as a writer, which is character bloat. I have a tendency of dumping too many characters on a page at one time, then you lose track of who's who. So I did a little refresher this morning. Oh, that's hot. Of what to watch out for. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting. This seat is mad uncomfortable. It looks nice. It's not. Get that backlight. I would be pulling Rizzy out to get a little bit of sunlight, but he hasn't pooped yet, so that means there's about a 100% chance if I pull him out, he's going to poop on me. So, scene 1, formal presentation, power geometry, function, established social threat map, Garrett and Arista stand before the king and queen. So we're going to see how this works with me streaming, doing a draft. The first book that I actually finished the draft of, I've done this before, where I have drafted a book, and I don't, while streaming, and I don't know if that necessarily works the best. The last one I did, I wrote my draft while I was sitting in front of the TV set playing video games. And I would take little breaks, and I would power out a section, and I would use ChatGPT to make sure that I was keeping everything consistent. And, yeah. Now, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. If it seems like I'm unresponsive, it means I actually managed to find myself in the zone. But what I used to do when I was 20 and I was writing is I would go to, like, Perkins, and I would just order, like, 3 meals throughout the day and just sit in a crowded place and do my writing in a notebook. And it was a good way to get things done. I find that that public shame of slacking off keeps me from getting too distracted. Because there's like a million other things that I would rather do because I consider them to be less important, therefore easier and more enjoyable than actually sitting down and getting this done. But it's kind of, I need to do this because I need to make money, I need to create value, and the wife is very happy with my first book. I still gotta clean up some parts and get that ready for publish. That's right. I suppose should be doing, but for my own sake, I really want to stay on point, and I did not get any serious writing done yesterday. I got brainstorming, light brainstorming, drizzling, really, where I was just thinking about, hello, Lou, what to do, how to approach something. Like, I realized with my entire outline, I had one point that really needed some attention, and so that's what yesterday was about. It was me trying to recover from a hangover and figure out when do my characters actually get married, because that's a big point. So let's start. Let's see. Lou, what do you want? What do you want, Lou? Like, this is a bad time. It's a bad time for you to be annoying right now. What do you want? Really? Are you serious? I just sat down to work. Are you serious right now? Can I do a page? Really? I... So my dog needs to go outside. That's what she's telling me. She's got to go potty. Is that accurate? Do you need to go potty?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, for crying out loud. Alrighty. Just give me a second, Lou. Okay. Give me a second. You're a pest. You're a pest. Oh. Yeah, shut up. Let me start. Last thing I want to do is listen to you whine right now. Okay, wait. Wait. All right, go ahead. Good girl. Is that what mode I'm in? Confessional. Oh yeah, this is when I just go big camera and talk directly into it. YouTube reaction. Screen capture mode. I think screen capture mode is... No, that's not it. YouTube. That's what I call this one. YouTube. So I can watch YouTube and commentate. Anyways, I'm back, folks. Hey, book buyer. Never fails. Sit down to work, and that's when the dog decides it's urgent that she gets outside. So, I need to change this screen over. And this screen. Oh, plotline, arc development. Alright. Chapter 1, beat by beat, tightened, no new canon. Alright. Just gotta remind myself this is a draft. That's still kind of warm. It does not need to be perfect. I would love it if I could draft one chapter a day. Supposedly drafting is the hard part. In my experience, editing is the bit that really sucks. Turn that ever so slightly. Alright, Garrett and Arista stand before the king and the queen. And just now, as I'm sitting down to write this, I realize I've never named Garrett's kingdom. Like, it's just the kingdom. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. This is again one of those situations where I'm going to be using ChatGPT. Going into the same chat that I'm having about plotline and arc development. Actually, no. Let's start a new conversation for this. New chat. I need a name for Garrett's kingdom. It is a seaside kingdom that exists in a pre-Diluvian world. I need a name for Garrett's kingdom. It is a seaside kingdom that exists in a pre-Diluvian world. Pre-Diluvian world. It should be a happy sounding mythical name. Yeah, that's enough. Given Garrett's world and tone, I'd aim for something that feels ancient, ocean-kissed, and bright, with soft vowels and a sense of abundance, almost too idyllic for a pre-Diluvian age. There are several directions you can choose from: luminous and mythic happy. Arthil, Delorian, Eliora, Calither, Seralith, Marilyn, Veloria. I kind of like Veloria. Coraloon, Isirin, Pre-Diluvian Before the Breaking, Thalasse, Nimara, Eloria by the Sea, Palerith, Delorian, Orthil, Eliora, DeLorean. DeLorean sounds too much like DeLorean to me, and I'm too much of a 80s nerd for that to work. Orthil. Veloria. Ugh. What? Golden, bright laughter in the streets. Like, yeah. I also want something that's easy to say. Veloria. Warm winds, open skies, laughter in stone streets. Veloria. The kingdom of Veloria. The kingdom of Orthil. Orthil. Like, that's... It makes me want to create a character with a lisp just so they can say it wrong every time. Veloria. Why does Veloria sound like it should be a woman's private body part or something? This is where you just eat up time. It shouldn't matter for a draft. I should be breezing past it. Kingdom of Veloria. I like Veloria, but it almost sounds like a part of female anatomy, and I like Orthil, but it seems to encourage a lisp. That's a very fair instinct, and you're right on both counts. Those subconscious phonetic association matter more than people admit. Let's fix that without losing what you like. Salvaging the feel of Veloria, warm, seaside, joyful. The issue is the lore vowel cluster. You can keep the brightness and while shifting the mouth feel. Valerin, same warmth, more regal, no anatomical echo. Valerin. Valeris, Valorin, Veloria, Beloria. I'm kind of leaning towards Bellerin now. So taking Valerin and Beloria and combining the softer start phonetic sound. Bellorin. Bellorin, so it actually has like Bell lore in it. So Bell, beautiful, lore, story, beautiful story is literally in the name of the kingdom. Bellorin. Belle, beautiful, and lore story. Beautiful story. He's doing this whole thing like, oh, well, this is a brilliant idea. Here's why. The instinct is very strong, and Bill Lauren works on multiple levels without tripping any of the phonetic or tonal landmines you were worried about. Phonetically clean, no lisp risk, no unintended associations, mythic but readable, feels ancient without sounding contrived. Emotionally bright, Belle carries beauty, warmth, and belonging. Subtle depth, Orin echoes lore, meaning memory and legacy without being on the nose. Pre-Diluvian friendly sounds like a name that existed before language hardened. Beloran sounds like a place meant to be remembered. That's powerful if the kingdom is a happy, coastal, and possibly destined to change or fall. The name itself feels like a relic. Bellorian sailors. Belloran's people. All these read clean and natural. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I can write my first damn sentence of this book. Garrett and Arista stood before the king and queen of Beloran. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Garrett and Arista stood before the king and queen of Beloran. Stood before his parents, the king and queen of Beloran. Spell that right? I did spell that right, and ignore all. Don't ever correct me on that again. Garrett and Arista stood before his parents, the king and queen of Beloran. can write badly at this stage. It's okay to write badly. It's expected. Garrett and Arista stood before his parents, the king and queen of Baloran. So exhausted from the long journey. See, I'm worried about how I set up the scene. Stood in the grand hall. King and Queen of Baloran, who sat on their thrones. Lula, no. No! Stop right there. Stop. Sit. Sit. Stay. How did you even hear a dog walking? That's just ridiculous. Stay. Damn you, Caps Lock. Hey, welcome back, book buyer. Yeah, I'm getting what I can. Get myself back. Fall from her gaze. Her hair was thinned slightly by time, but clung to faded memory of gold. Garrett Arista stood in the grand hall before his parents, the king and queen of Baloran, who sat upon their throne. He was still exhausted from a long journey, while she seemed to buzz with excitement. To either side of the rulers stood their attendees, and aligning the hall to Garrett's right sat his brothers, their wives, and his niece and nephew. To Arista's left stood some of the servants, many looking shaken and most afraid to look directly at the bold stranger standing proudly before them. King Gregarious beamed beneath his mustache that fell like a white curled curtain as if to hide his mischievous smile, though the twinkle in his bright blue eyes, framed by laugh lines, gave away his playful, kind demeanor. A large, heavy crown sat atop his bald head as though slowly crushing the old man, but his attitude was as light as a spring day. His thick red robes, and his thick red robes, plural, lined, lined and bespeckled white, could not hide his withered frame or how slouched the years had made him. Beside him sat his queen, Gwendolyn. Despite her own advanced years, sat straight. She sat straight and proud as though her many decades hadn't touched her. The many decades hadn't touched her since the first day she donned the crown. She smiled with reserved joy as her eyes glowed with love at the sight of the couple before her. Although regal and proud, there was the slightest ebbing of tears brewing to fall from her gaze. Her hair was thinned slightly by time, but clung to a faded memory of gold. Let's see. Garrett gave his account of his time away. The storm the sinking ship, Arista rescuing him. Though he omitted precisely how she had gone about his rescue, as well as the fact that she was a mermaid. He spoke of the island and how he had struggled to survive for so long. It began to feel natural. Also, that he was trapped by a curse. God, would he include that? Would he mention the curse? He spoke of the island and how he had struggled to survive for so long that it began to feel natural. Had begun to feel natural. Also, that he was trapped by a curse. Would he mention the curse? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe save that. Because that would be difficult to explain. Especially because he wasn't trapped by the curse. She was. Well, he mentioned Arista's curse without too many details. He admitted that he stayed to be with her. Yeah, I got the noonday devil in me right now. Like, I just ate lunch before I did this, and now, because it's hard, my brain is not cooperating with me right now. He stayed to be with her. Audible gasp from both of his brothers' wives. He took Arista's hand as he spoke of how he had relied on her to keep him alive. And her aid in intimate knowledge of the sea. And I'm at like 400 words, so that's a tenth of the way. It's over a tenth of the way. Acknowledged that the bountiful mounds of treasure was hers by right. Bountiful mounds of treasure had washed ashore with them was hers by right of her time on the island. At this, his brother Garth scoffed. That's a page. Pretty good, I'd say. I just finished the first page of the draft of book 2, and yeah, it's plugging along. I've got the notes to follow. I've got a good solid outline to use. It's going good. Sonny seat on the throne when he was stationed to watch over the Agent King and address the courts. I'm just trying to remember what this character's name is, or why that's even important right now. I suppose I could save that for later. Actually, I should have a whole nother document. Let's see. Drowning Book 2 outline. Boom. This is why we make notes. Okay. Minus that. Alright. I got too many things open right now. What the hell? There it is. Alright. Pelivar. Pelivar Quince. How could I forget Pelivar? Alright. Now, I've had characters talking, but I haven't had anyone talk yet. I haven't included dialogue. Do I really want to give the first bit of dialogue to a physician who's, like, I guess a secondary character in this chapter? Like, you don't want to introduce too many characters too soon, so I don't want to give too many details about this character. Former assigned seat behind the throne where he was stationed to watch over the Agent King and address the courts. And I should only give a single sentence to him, too. He was a fastidious fellow. I'm going to click on fastidious real quick to make sure it means difficult, delicate, thorough, easygoing, fat. How in the fuck of delicate, easygoing, thorough, fatty? Difficult. No. does not mean what I think it means. There's a thin fellow with wispy white hair. That thinned slightly on top and stuck out on the sides. Exclamation point of a goatee. I can't give him the first lines. I can't make my first quotation marks this character speaking. It's ridiculous, but I just can't. Ugh. Detailed summary of Garrett's many bruises, new scars, and lost weight, but surmised that overall he was healthier than he had been when he left the kingdom some odd 3 years prior. In regards to Arista, he commented somewhat dismayed that he had never before met a healthier, feminine specimen. your document. Drowning, Book 2, Chapter 1. Did that again. Keep doing regards instead of regard. Let's see. Which was strange only in relation to how battered Garrett was from the return trip home. I'm gonna make more tea. Admittedly, the temptation to slack off and to quit is very high right now. I know I gotta keep working, especially if I'm gonna hit this deadline that I want to hit. What? What? Zoran Mandami banned Raspberry Pi devices from his inauguration as New York mayor? Oh, I'm tempted to check that out. I was into robotics and programming not too long ago, a few years ago. So I love me the Raspberry Pi stuff. Like I'd love to be playing with that stuff. I got out of it because I didn't want to spend the money on robotics. But what I really wanted to do a few years back was get heavy into robotics and 3D printing and start actually making robots and tech toys and stuff. Because I do 3D modeling, I do programming and stuff like that. So there's a lot of temptation to start playing around with that tech side of stuff. But I need the money first. The easiest thing to make money that I know of is just writing, I guess. So I got to keep working on this. The hand of the queen was the next to speak. Lady Isolde. Fairwind. The mistress of, I'm spelling this right, etiquette. Is that right, though? Stood yet a little straighter. Carefully using formality. Formality and grace to hide, to mask her dismay. Again, I don't want this character to be the first one to speak, but Oh, that's where the best viewers are. I was wondering. I totally wanted to know that. Thank you. Um. Popping this into a new chat of ChatGPT just to see what it says. This is a solid core introduction chapter, and it's doing several things right already. Break this into what's working, where it's slipping, and specific actionable fixes. Yeah, I know. It's annoying as fuck, Lou. It's the problem with having a first floor unit. People tend to walk right by on my patio. Yeah. Yep, you're right. And, the short example revision, not a full rewrite. Arissa's characterization lands immediately. She comes across as proud, physically imposing without being large, socially dangerous in a way that's interesting, not villainous. Her reactions, chin raised, eyes narrowed, beaming at the physician's praise, do more work than dialogue would. That's good instinct. The parents feel distinct and warm. Gregarious and Gwendolyn aren't generic fantasy royalty. Gregarious's mustache plus levity sells him instantly. Gwendolyn's restrained emotion gives depth without melodrama. They also function narratively. Their laughter reframes Arista as a feature, not a threat. The omission of Arista's true nature is handled cleanly. Garrett hiding. Stop. Garrett hiding that she's a mermaid feels natural, not contrived. You didn't over-explain or lampshade it, which keeps tension alive. Where the chapter struggles, too many people introduced at once. Yeah. You were worried about this, and your instinct is correct. We get king, queen, multiple brothers, wives, niece, nephew, physician, mistress of etiquette, servants as a collective. Most of them don't act. They're positioned. Results, the reader's attention diffuses before it has clear anchor. 2. Garrett is passive for most of the scene. This is the biggest issue. He stands, reports, omits details, reacts minimally. But this is his homecoming emotionally. He should be carrying the scene, even quietly. Right now, Arista and the parents are doing more narrative work than he is. Sentence density and length occasionally blur focus. You tend to stack descriptors in long, winding sentences. This fits your voice, but when everyone is being described at that density, the important details drown. Example, either side of the rulers to their attendees. This paragraph is informative, but not felt. Lady Isolde's report is excellent, but long. Conceptually, this is great etiquette versus feral sea woman, controlled outrage versus unapologetic pride. But it runs slightly too long for a first chapter court scene. The impact dulls before the punchline, the king's laughter. Concrete fixes, no major rewrites required. Collapse the background characters and implication. You don't need to list everyone. Instead, his brothers, their wives, and his niece and nephew. His brothers and their families, or mention only one brother who will matter later. Garth already works well. Readers don't need a seating chart, just power dynamics. Give Garrett one intentional thread. Pick one emotion and thread it lightly through the scene. Guilt, displacement, fear of rejection, awe that Arista doesn't belong here. You only need 2 to 3 interior beats. Example, when the wives gasp, when Garth scoffs, when his parents laugh. This grounds the scene emotionally without slowing it. Sharpen the opening paragraph. The first paragraph is doing logistics. It should also do tone. You might consider removing one positional detail, adding one sensory or emotional beat. Trim Lady Isolde by 20%, not by cutting content, by compressing phrasing. Her function, she is dangerous, she violates norms, she cannot be controlled. You don't need every example to mark that land, to make that land. Here's a tightened version of a small section to show what I mean, not a prescription. Garrett gave his account of his time. The storm, his sinking ship, Arista rescuing, though he admitted precisely how she had done so and what she truly was. This kind of fragmentation mirrors exhaustion and restraint and gives Garrett presence without exposition. This chapter succeeds at establishing Arista as a disruptive force, signaling that his court is not hostile by default. Framing future conflict as cultural, not purely political. Your core weakness here isn't imagination or clarity, it's trusting the readers less than you should. You don't need to fully introduce everyone. You just need to orient us emotionally. If you want, next we can do a line edit pass for compression, or identify which characters can vanish entirely until later, or tune Garrett's internal arc specifically for Chapter 1. I do like... I'm going to change that sentence at least that it offered me. Hmm. I need to get to at least 1,000 words. At least 1,000 words today. That's my goal. But I'm tired. I'm having a hard time concentrating. This Garth, the eldest prince, rose from a seat amongst his family. And approached the couple. He was a robust man, both tall and porcine. How did use tab for that? We'll hide him with open suspicion. It's 998 words so far today. This revision is a clear setup. You fixed several of the structural issues we talked about and added confrontation with Garth. Gives the chapter a proper climax instead of a fade out. I'll focus on precision edits, character dynamics, or to tighten without losing your voice. What improved noticeably, Garrett now acts. The physical intervention hobbling between Arista and Garth is exactly what the chapter needed. It shows his lingering weakness, his loyalty to Arista, his instinct to mediate rather than dominate. That one action does more character work than 3 paragraphs of description. Garth is now properly established as a threat. Excellent choice to make him physically invasive, socially entitled, smiling when he shouldn't. The waist grab is doing a lot of work here. It immediately justifies Arista's violence and reframes Lady Isolde's concern as partially naive rather than wise. The fragmented recap works. Line level issues to fix. Yeah. Okay. I still have at least another 2,000 words to add before this chapter is done. Feeling tired though, and struggling to keep going. Might take a break soon. Following is the plotted what is the worst possible social misunderstanding a risk could cause in the next scene without realizing it? C, copy that bit, Control V, because that helps paste that a little bit. And I'm going to take a break because I hit my 1,000 word mark, which is good for a single session, particularly if I'm tired. I should be waking up and doing my writing and trying to get through my chapter before lunch. After lunch, after I eat, it's horrible. There's something called the noonday devil. Something about lunch makes people lazy. Like Miyamoto Musashi wrote about this too. Where, I mean, really you should get into a habit of doing the thing that you least want to do in the day after you eat lunch, because that's when you're going to be your laziest and your most resistant to do it. And then you get in the habit of tackling the most difficult thing when you least want to do it, and it makes everything else easier to accomplish throughout the day. And really practice, I don't know if it makes perfect, but it certainly makes it easier to keep practicing. Like one thing I've been doing lately is when I brush my teeth with my non-dominant hand, because that's supposed to help you form new neurological pathways. And admittedly, that's getting easier the more I do it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this for now. I'm going to take a break. I think I'm going to hop back onto Warframe. Probably open this up. Yeah, I got it saved. I'm probably going to open this up on my tablet and keep messing with it while I'm playing video games. Because I do quite a bit of my drafts while I'm gaming. But right now, for like deep focus, I'm kind of at my limit. I should be drawing, but really I should take a break from this stuff for now. It's been over an hour. I've made progress. It's been 2 hours, not including walking the dog. So at least an hour and a half of work. That's not bad. I'd say I'm about a third of the way done with this chapter, as far as the length goes. I know I'm going to have to fine-tune what I've written today, and that's fine. That's better than fine. That's refined. But yeah, I'm going to call it for now. Thank you. I will be back probably in a little bit just to play some Warframe and finish some of the farming that I started today. And I'm going to be doing something on the tablet. I'm not exactly sure what, but I'm going to be doing something. So, goodbye Twitch, goodbye Kick. Peace.